Even if you know just little about it, though, I'm not saying you must be professional. Nobody, right? Hello? So does that mean I don't have any graphic designer here? All right. So when we talk about graphic design, some people feel it is just you going to Canva, you going to CorelDRAW, Pixel Lab, Photoshop to just get some shape, put everything together, put all your tests together, and save your work, then come out with something. Yeah, most people do that, especially most people that does not want to pay graphic designer for their work. Probably some vendors online or some business people, like maybe they feel okay, why do I need to pay graphic designer for this? It is something I can do. Then you just see them, they just go to CorelDRAW or go to Pixel Lab and match some shapes together, put in different colors, and they shall come out with something. So they feel that okay, they've designed something. Meanwhile, it is more than that. Graphic, even though they come out with something that is really, really beautiful, graphic design, it is still more than that. It is between you and your audience. How will your audience feel after seeing your design? How will they feel? Even though it is beautiful, is it catchy? You know, there are some designs that are actually beautiful and they are not really catchy. People will just view and they will just pass. It's not conveying any message. Meanwhile, it is beautiful, right? So graphic design is the art and practice of visual communication. It's the art and practice of visual what communication. You are actually communicating something. You are communicating a message to your audience. So it involves creating visuals. It involves creating visuals, content, using images, using text, colors, and layout to convey what? To convey images. I mean, to convey messages. So you use what? You use images, you use text, you use color and layouts to convey messages, solve problems, and influence what? Influence behavior. So as a graphic designer, you want to, at all costs, make what? Complex ideas simple and what? And beautiful. You know, I've talked about design being beautiful. Then there is an aspect of what? Design being what? Being simple and actually communicating the message you want to pass. So they're actually different, right? I believe you can all hear me, right? Hello, Miss Motun, Mr. Jimo.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, all right,
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
all right, all right. Thank you. So graphic design serves a purpose. Yes, so you are not just creating flyer, you are not just creating logo. There is a reason why you want to create logo. There is a reason why you want to what? Create flyer, right? So From here, we'll move on to the elements of designs. Elements of designs. So firstly, we have what we call shape. So in graphic design, you can't do without what? You can't do without shape. And I know most of us, we know the simple shapes that at least they've taught us, they taught us in secondary school, yeah, or primary school. So like we have circle, rectangle, we have square, we have triangle, and so on. So all these shapes are what you use in design. In design. So apart from all these, what's it called? These simple shapes, you can actually create your own shape. If you are creative, you can you can make your rectangle, you can make it something like a curved edge. Probably you don't want the edge to be straight, you want the edge to be curved. You do it like that using your border radius. So you can use it to curve the edge of your rectangle. So you can actually manipulate your shape to your own taste. So it's not compulsory that you leave it as rectangle, or you leave it as circle. So by the time we get to the practical, you will get to see all these things that I'm talking about. Then we have lines. So lines are marks connecting connecting 2 points. Lines are connecting 2 points. So it can be straight line, it can be curved, it can be thick, and it can be thin. So we also make use of line in graphic design. Then we have color. So under color, we have the primary color, we have the secondary color, and we have the tertiary color. Then we have space. So definitely you want to leave space between between your objects. So we call something objects in design. Definitely you will see all these things. You will see them. So you want to leave space between you don't want to jam pack your objects. You don't want to jam pack it. Then this will move us to the principles of design. Principles of design. So, and if you can get this right, then you are good to go. You are good to go if you can get this thing right. So we have what we call balance, which is the first principle of design. Visual weight distribution. That is what balance is. Visual weight distribution. So you don't want to make your design like probably a color is darker than a particular color, or your text is more bold compared to some other text. You want to make sure you balance you balance everything. And this also talks about what's it called now? Alignment. Alignment. So you want to make sure you align your work properly. Let's assume you want to write, let's say, Facebook. Then you don't want F to be at the top, then you have A at the bottom, you have C at the bottom, you have E at the upper side, or probably F is uppercase, A is lowercase, then C is lowercase. So you want to make sure you balance you balance everything, right? Then we have what we call proportion, which is size relationships. size relationship that feels natural. So you want to ensure that your size are distributed evenly. Okay, I'm not showing my screen yet. Ms. Motun. So for your size, you want to make sure they are in the right proportion. So now let's move to how to design professionally. How to design professionally. I want you all to pay attention to this, and if you have your writing materials with you, try and jot something down. So firstly, if you want to design, the first thing you have to do is what? To understand your client's need, your audience, and your goal. Let's take, for example, your client wants to run, let's say, a sales during festive period. Let's say around, maybe let's say Christmas. Probably your clients want to run Christmas sales. Firstly, what you have to do is understand why he wants to create that. Probably if it is a flyer, understand why he wants to create that particular flyer. Okay, it is for what? It is actually sales. Then not just sales, right? You are running the sales during what? A festive period. And what's the festive period? Christmas, right? So you know that the way you will design flyer for Christmas period is different from the way you will design probably a sales flyer for Ramadan period, right? So you don't want to use Father Christmas. Let's say you are someone that probably you want to include Father Christmas as part of your images in your design. You don't want to use Father Christmas while you are designing flyer for sales in Ramadan period, right? You know that they're actually contradicting one another. Yeah. So firstly, you understand your client need. Then, if your client has a brand color, get to know the brand color. Let's take Facebook as an example. You know that Facebook is always is always blue. That's our brand color. Or let's say our own DBS Technologies. Let's take it as an example. DBS Technologies is our brand color is is blue. So there hardly will you see any flyer like for DBS Technologies that you will not see color blue. Like it will take the larger amount of the color that you are using for that design. But once red, or let's say pink, is taking the larger percentage of the color you are using for DBS Technologies, then you are going outside what your client need, right? Yeah. So firstly, you understand your client need and and your goal Secondly, we have ideation. So this is where you brainstorm. This is where you try to be creative. You want to try and think about something that you can actually do that will be at least different from what others have been doing, right? So you come up with an idea. Then we have what we call sketching. So just like a prototype. So you can actually get a book. If it is a logo that you want to design, you first you sketch your logo before you go to your tool. you sketch the logo in a book, or if it is a flyer, yeah, you sketch it how you want it to be, the layouts, the shapes, and everything. You sketch it out, right? Then we have what we call development. Okay, let me talk about the sketching again. So you can also do some kind of wireframing. That's not the design itself. You're just putting something together to see how your normal design will work. So we call that wireframing. Then we have development. So this is where you go to your tool, either your Canva, your Pixel Lab, your Corel Draw, to actualize your design. Then we have delivery. So you save your work, you print out your work, and deliver to your client. So you can save in SVG format, you can save in PNG format, right? Then now we have specialization in graphic design. So as a graphic designer, you might want to just specialize in a particular niche. So it can be logo design. Probably you just want to focus on logo. There are some graphic designers that are very, very good in designing flyer, but they are very poor in designing logo. So they're actually different. The way you will design logo is different from the way you will design flyer, right? So you might want to specialize in logo design. Then we have print design. So something like poster, like banners, like brochures, like books. So that's what print design. So you might want to specialize on that. Then we have what digital and social media graphics. Also, we have motion graphics, we have environmental graphics. So why it is important to actually specialize in one thing is, I will always say, if you are consistent doing one thing, you will definitely be good at that thing. Yes. Let me say master of one trade. Yeah, let me just say master of one trade. Yeah. Unlike jack of all trade, master of none. So it's better if you are very, very good in logo design, you can just specialize in logo design. Logo design is actually money. If I want to design logo presently, I'm not sure I'm charging less than 30K. Yeah. And that's how it is everywhere. So you see some people, they charge 70K, they charge 50K for logo, just logo. So don't feel like, logo, it is just simple thing compared to print designs. So, and if you want to focus on print designs, imagine people that are designing posters. Just imagine. So you can actually focus on that. Maybe you want to be designing books and all that. Then we move to best practice. Yeah, best practices for graphic designer. So always make sure you learn. Yeah, as a graphic designer, no one is an island of knowledge. So go to some what's it called? Some platforms, yeah, that you feel you can actually learn and get something. So learn, practice all over and over again, and also build what? Build client relationship. Build client relationship. Once you work with any particular client, don't, even though the client is troublesome or anything, don't rubbish the person. At least with good understanding, try and know how to build relationship with the person. Yeah. Then portfolio building. Ensure you keep building your portfolio, so you can host that in Pinterest. Yes, if you go to Pinterest, you can open an account there. Instagram. Yeah, Instagram is also a good platform. Yeah, where you can have your portfolio. And if you are capable of probably designing a portfolio website, yeah, that's a very good one too. Then just design a portfolio website and put all your words, all your amazing projects, post them there so that your client can actually see that nobody will give you work if there's nothing you want to show. Imagine you want to get a particular, let's say, particular gig, and your client asks you that, okay, give me your, let me see your portfolio, let me see what you've done before, and you don't have anything to show. Like there's no way he will want to trust you, even though you've worked on projects before and you did not document them, you did not save them properly. Yeah, you don't just want to tell him that, and I've done some project before, just that I did not save them. Nobody will want to hear that. So as much as you are designing for clients, ensure you document everything and save your work and save your work. So hello, I believe you can all hear me, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So before we get into our two, I don't know if anybody have a question. If you have any question regarding what we've discussed or what we've not discussed, probably you have anything in mind, I want you to ask at this time. Okay, Miss Motu, no question from my end. Okay, so that means we all got what I said, right? Hello. All right.
Yes, sir. It's
All right.
clear at least to this point.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So the tool we'll be using is Pixel Lab. This is a smartphone what graphic design. This smartphone graphic design. So if you are not really good using CorelDRAW, then you can get to your Pixel Lab and design what you want to actually design. So we'll be using Pixel Lab. Give me a few seconds to just share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I can see
Okay.
the screen, sir.
Okay. Good. So this Pixel Lab, as you all know, this smartphone was graphic design. So actually, it is available for laptop. So you can use Pixel Lab 2 on your system. Yeah, and you can also use it on your phone. You can also use it on your phone. So when once you open, okay, you can get it from Play Store and App Store. Yeah, so if you are using Android, go to Play Store, and if it is iOS, go to App Store and get Pixel Lab. So I want you, if you don't have it on your phone, I want you to do that now. If you don't have it on your phone already, go to Play Store or App Store and search Pixel Lab. So just give us a few seconds to do that. All right. So when you open Pixel Lab, you get to see this at default. Now, this is where you write your what? Your test. Where we have new test, this rectangular shape. So you can pick your object. Yeah, just by clicking. You can select your object just by what? Just by clicking. So from here, where we have this letter A is where you can edit your what? Edit your text. All right. Now let me walk you through everything we have under this letter A. We have edits. When you click on edits, it shows what? New text. And let's say you want to write your name, Motunrayo. Motunrayo. Yeah. Why am I writing? Is it because she's the one that has been responding? She's the one that has been responding since. Okay. So I've edited this to what? To Motunrayo, right? Now, delete is just normal, still normal delete. Yeah, if you delete it, you can see that it is gone, right? It is gone. And you are left with what? You are left with text and what? And quotes. So when you click on text, it will appear again, new text. Then you have option what? To edit your text. Now we have copy. Copy, you copy your work and paste. So you copy your work and paste your text. So you can see that we are having two new tests now. Then we have to front. To front means if you bring your text to front. Yeah. Okay, let me change this to okay, Stimotunrayo. You can see that they are overlapping, right? But Motunrayo is at the what? Is at the front. While new text is what? Is at the back. Now let's select new text. And let's bring that to the front. Yeah, it's not really showing very well. Yeah. Now that I've changed the color, you can see that new text is now what? Is at the front. While Moturaya is at the what? Is at the back. So that's what front does. Then we have to back. That's just the opposite of front. We have position. From here, you can reduce your pixel. Yeah. You can reduce it. This will reduce how your object move. Okay, you can see now that I reduce it to 3, you can see how it is moving, like it is just filling small gaps, right? But if you increase the px to 27, you can see that it is actually moving very fast and filling uh, large gaps. So that's position for you. And all right, so you can move to the left, to the right, up and what? And down. Good. Now we have what? Relative position. So with this, you can adjust your test at the center. This new test now is what is rightly at the what at the center. Let me select multiplier and let me shift to the right a bit. Now let's go to relative position and let's position at the center. Center what vertically. Now that I position at the center vertically, you can see that it is what it is at the center of this what of this shape, right? Now we can also position what position at the center what horizontally, which is this. You can see that it is at the middle, perfectly at the middle, right? You can see from here that it is what it is at the middle. Now let's select this new test. Let's position here at the middle too. You can see our test is at the middle. Then you can shift to the right, shift to the left, downward, and upward. So you can actually play with this. Now we have size. Yeah. So this is where we increase what the size of what of our test. So you increase the font size from here. So at default is at 55. So you can increase. You can see this 2, this 412. You can see how our test is looking what looking very big, and you can reduce what such that it is what it is small, right? Now let's make it moderate. So now another thing is where you want to use your size. The size is not just there for fun. It is still part of what the element of what element of design. Imagine you want to let's say you want to run a sales, yeah, on your problem on your product, and you want to design a flyer for it. Now you want everybody to see what to see that particular sales, like maybe people should concentrate on sales. Then you want to make sure what that sales is what is very very big, right? You don't want to make it small so that people will not even see what you are running your advertisement for. They are not seeing sales very well. But if it is big, you make the font very big, then people can easily see that okay, you're actually running a sales I don't know how they call it now in business term, probably a sales ad. Yeah, want to make it big. Then let's move to padding. So you can see padding will give space around your around your text. If you padding left, you can see that it is leaving space. Someone, okay. Thank you for muting your mic. So you can see when you move to the left, it what add space to your around your text. Now you also padding padding right. Now let's change this to 0 and let's also change this to, so that's what padding does. Now we have color. We have color. So this is where you change your color, your text color. All right, let me do something now. So here we will also be talking about the element of design. So what I've talked about, you will see it now in action. Now I'm creating a shape. Don't worry, we are still coming there. You know, we've talked about shape too. So I've created a scale, and now I want to write a text. Hello, please, I want you to unmute your mic. Okay. So I've written Motunrayo, but the color is white. our background color is white, right? And also I've written a test,
Yes,
Motrayo.
sir.
Yeah, and at default the color is white. Do you think it is reasonable for me to use color white for my test when I have white
No.
background? Yeah. So
No.
all right.
No, sir.
So, so you change the what? The color. The what? You can see that this one is even a lighter shade of yellow. So you can't use it. You can't. You still cannot use this, right? You can see that it's not showing very well. Now let's.
Mm.
This blue is still not showing very well. Then when you use something like black, you can see that
Black.
it is showing very, very well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes,
you
sir.
use this. You can see our text is now what? Is now showing very well. Good. Now we also have what we call gradient. So we have what we call gradient. So from gradient, you can what? You can mix color. Maybe you want to mix two colors together. Now let's see how we can go about this. This gradient, you click on what? On this plus icon. You click on plus icon. Then from here you select your color. Let's say lighter shade. And we want to change this second color to a darker what? Darker shade. All right. Then at the top, we have these 6 shapes. So this what adjust your gradients. So you can see we are adjusting our gradient. The lighter shade is changing to a particular side, and the darker shade is changing to a particular side too. Now let us use this. Now you click OK, and when you go to your test, you can see that MOTUR is still what carrying the darker shade. Why? AYO is carrying what? The lighter shade of this what? Of this color. So that's gradient for you, right? Now we have texture. From texture, this is where we use this majorly for image. Yeah. So when we get to how if we want to import image, then we'll see how we use the texture. Then we have opacity. This also reduces what? The shade of your what? Of your color. So you can see when I reduce the opacity, it is fading. The color is fading already. Then when you increase it, then you get your normal color back, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we have rotate. So you can rotate to 180 degrees. You can see that we've turned our test. You can also rotate to minus 180. So when you keep it at 0, then vertically, horizontally, your test will align properly, right? Good. Then we have what? Masked. So this can actually cut out your what? Your test. You can see we've cut out what? Mochurayo. So when you enable that, and so we don't need that. Then here we have fonts. All right. So we have fonts. We have my fonts. Pay attention to this. We have fonts. We have my fonts. We have recent. Font is what? They are the default uh, fonts in Pixel Lab. All this one came with your Pixel Lab. If you download some Pixel Lab, you will see some fonts that are actually more than this. So when you change the font, let's change it to this. So at the top, you will see that the font is changing. So you can see that we've changed the font of our text. Now we have my font. My font is what? The font that probably you've downloaded and you've um, import them, yeah, to Pixel Lab. So these are the fonts that I've actually downloaded that I feel that okay, all these fonts are what I actually want to use. I don't want to use the normal font in Pixel Lab. Though I still use some, but I've gotten my own font that I know, okay, this one are really, really good for me. You can see that the font is actually changing. Okay, another thing about our uh, principles of design, yeah, is what is font. Let's assume you want, maybe you want to write sales, and you want that sales to be the main focus of your audience. Like you want people to, once they see your flyer, you want them to see that you are running a sales, and you want them to see sales. Then you don't want to use fonts like this. Let me you don't want to use font like, okay, let me change this to sales. Even though if you increase the size, you don't want to use font like this. You can see that it's not really catchy, right? So you can still use, you can still get to use something like what, like you can see the difference, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. No. So here is where you bold what you bolding your text. From there you can see that we bolding our text. Here is italics. Then here is underline, and you can remove everything from here. Also, if you want to bolding, or maybe you want italics for just the ears, so you can just manually change this to highlight what, just the ears, and you put italics. You can see that others are straight. ES is what is in italics format, right? Now you can also uh, remove that from there. Now we also have what we have curve. You can see we've curved our what, our text. Yeah, you might want to have it like this. You might want to have it what, like this. I might want to also have it what, straight. Also we have background. So we can see, you can see that we've given our what, our shape a what, a background, right?
Yes, sir.
We also have align. So align what, align your text. Yeah, okay. Let's see that. Let me see 20% sales. Okay. I'll change that sales to discount. 20% discount. So let's align. You can see we've aligned at the what, at the center. That's why you see that 20% is at the center. Also, discount is at the center. When you align right, you can see that 20% has changed to what, to right. Everything is at the right. They are starting from the what, the right. Then if you align left, you can see that 20% has changed to what, to the left. Now when you align at the center, then 20% will go to the center, right? Then also we have spacing. So this gives spacing around your what, around your text. So we will just leave this at 0. And also we have what, we have the vertical, which is the line spacing. You can see that it is giving shape. I mean, it is giving space between what, between 20% and what, and discount. Can you see that? You see that? So let's change that to 0. Also, we have stroke. So you can see this is giving what, our text some kind of what, some kind of stroke, like not really border, something like a border. Can you see? Can you see that? All right, so that's stroke for you. So we use this majorly for shapes. Yeah, for shapes. Now we have shadow. You can see we've given our what, our text was shadow. Also, we have what? We have inner shadow. Inner shadow is different from shadow. Can you see that? We also have box. Yeah, we also use this sometimes. So this will change the contrast, the intensity of your text. And you can also remove that. Then we have the 3D rotation. Yeah, can you see? This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So for beginner, these are not really necessary. Now let's move to here. So here we have shape, we have draw. So under draw, you can what? Draw, probably you want to draw a particular shape. You can draw from here, you what? You go back to your former step, and this is eraser. So I mean cleaner, yeah, you can use it to clean your shape. Let's assume I've drawn something like this, then with your eraser, so you can use it to what? To clean what you've drawn, right? Good. And also the pen size is there. If you reduce the pen size to 1, you see that the thickness will be small. You can see that it is very thin, right? And if you increase it to 100 or to 110, you can see that it is very big, right? So that's that about that. And also we have the smoothness. Yeah. So this will allow your stuff, your drawing to be what? To be smooth. Now let me increase the smoothness to 100. Can you see how our text is very what? It's very smooth. Also, we have shape. So here we have shape. And don't forget, when we were talking about the element of design, we talked about shape. So, and I said you'll be making use of shape very well in design. So I've selected a what? Square. At default is a square. So if you want to select other shape, you what? You click on this and it will bring out what? Other shapes. So you have circle, you have this semicircle, you have this arrow, you have rectangle, also you have star, you have this love, you have this square, this is what's it called now? Pentagon, or what is it they call them? And this is hexagon. Yeah,
Pentagon.
thank you. So you can see that if there are a lot of shapes that we can use here. And also, so once you've selected your shape, yeah, manually you can reduce the size. So you can reduce the size manually. Let me get rid of this. So manually you can reduce what? The size, and also increase it. Now, this is what I say about the radius. Let me change the fill to black, and let's see the radius. Can you see? Can you see that? You can see that we've changed the radius. The edge are now curved. They are no more straight. They are now what? They are curved. So depending on what you want to do, so you can leave it as 10. You can also increase it. Right now we have opacity. This will reduce what? It can fade your what? The color of your shape, and also you can take it back to normal. Also, we talked about gradient. So you can change the fill to what? The fill color to normal color or gradient color. This is the normal color, and when you change it to gradient, you can see. Also, we have stroke width. Stroke width is like a border. So you can see that we've added border to our shape. So when you increase this to the width, you can see that it's getting more thicker. And when you reduce it, it gets more thinner. If there's anything like that. Then we have opacity for our what? For our stroke. Yeah, this is the opacity. You can see that it is fading and it is also coming back to the normal stroke. Now, this is stroke color. You can change the stroke color. Have you seen that you've changed the stroke color to yellow? Can you see that? And when you change it to black, you can see that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then we have the blur radius. You can see it is getting blurry when you increase the radius to 25, and you can also take it back to what? To 0. So depending on what you want to do, it's not compulsory that you use what? All these features. It's not compulsory. It just depends on what you want to do. There's some design you want to do. You don't even make it more than maybe 10 features. Yeah, and you are good. So yeah, we've talked about shape. So and that is it. Also, the last part here, we have what? We have color. So you can change the color of your background. That's the default background. You can also change the image size. So this is the image of your what? Of your design. So you can change the size. Now we have custom. Custom is you can adjust it to what you want, right? This is 1:1. You can see the aspect ratio is 1:1 what? 1. 1280 width to what? 1280 height. So when you change the height to, let's say, something around 2000, yeah, 2000. So you can see it is now 16 to what? To 25 ratio. Now let's click OK. You can see that I have it. Let me change the
Yes.
background. I want you to see it very well. Okay, let me the background color. All right. So you can see that the width has what? Has reduced. While the height has what? Has what? Has increased. Right? Now let's change the
Yes, sir.
size again. So can you see that? We have it at normal
Yes, sir.
size. All right. So, and also at the top, when you select any of your objects, you can actually delete it from here. You will see confirmation. Delete the selected object. When you OK, you can see that it is gone. And from here, you can return it back. That's something you want to undo. Yes, you want to undo that step. So it will return it what? Return it back. And also from here we have alignment, so we make use of these two very well. In fact, there's no design you want to do and you don't want to make use of your alignment, because this is how you make sure that all your tests are what? They are properly arranged, they are in the right what? Right on the right line. So from here you can change the, you can adjust it, you can adjust your alignment. So when you click on this, you can see it is what? 3 to 3. Number of horizontal guides 3. Number of vertical guides 3. Let's count that. We have 1, 2, 3. That's the number of vertical lines that we have. And when you count horizontal lines, you have 1, 2, 3, right? And when you change this to, let's say, 10, and also 10. If you count your vertical lines very well, you will see that it is 10. And if you count your vertical, it is what? It is 10, right? So this will enable you to watch to align your text or shapes properly. Now we'll see example of that now. Okay, so let me delete this. So I want to write the text. Let's say my first so after copy now, so you just copy this and you paste, then you edit it. My first project, or let me say my first design. Yeah. Now you can see if you want to adjust this thing manually, you find out that it should be very what very very difficult. Okay, let me remove the lines. Can you see that? So you will not really know if the tester was are properly aligned. And mere looking at it, you can see that they are not well aligned, right? And it is not a good practice as a graphic designer. So you make sure
Yes,
you
sir.
bring the alignment out, and what you want to put it just at the line. Now I will select first, and also my can you see the difference now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can.
Vertically they are well aligned, right? So
Yes,
that's
sir.
alignment for you,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Also, you can see that all these steps they are still in um, different forms. Yeah. So you can match them together. So for you to match your text together, you click on this. When you select this, then at the bottom, I have this icon that has mark, cancel, and equal sign. So when you click that, then you can select all your text, and this one at the middle, you will see the one I will click just now. You have confirmation. Are you sure you want to match the selected objects? Okay. And when you okay that, you can see that all our tests are now selected, and I mean they are matched together. So and you can move everything wherever you want, wherever you want. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Match together, right? Talk about erase color. Yeah, so let's see erase color. Okay, let's assume you have, we use erase color for shapes very well. Let's assume you have this square, and let me change the color to to something like this, right? Yeah. So and you want to achieve so a kind of irregular shape that is not in your shape in pixel lab. You want let's select another shape again. Now you can use that it is giving us a kind of shape that we don't have in pixel lab already, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So firstly, you match the two together. You match the two shapes together. Then you go to what? Erase color. Can you see that now? So we've achieved what? We've achieved
Yes, sir.
our shape. Right? So that's about that. And from here you can bring in, let's say if you have images that you want to use, you can bring in your images. Okay. So this will take you to your gallery, right? Let's assume you have something like this, right? So you can see we've import what our image. So when you click on that, you see from gallery. So you click on from gallery, then it should take you to your gallery. Then from there you can import your what? You can import your image. And also if you want to change this image to circle, now let me delete that. If you want to change it to circle, you first what? You create a circular shape. Then you go to texture. Yeah, this is the texture I was talking about then that I said we'll make use of. You go to texture. You can see this thing is in this icon is showing something like photo. You click on that and you go to your image. When you select that, can you see that we change it to circle?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's texture. All right. So you can now put it at the center. So where we use this texture is maybe you want to create some icon, let's say Facebook icon, or let's say Instagram icon. Yeah, I believe you must have been seeing that in several designs. Let's do one example.
Yes, yes.
All right. So and this is it. So you must have been seeing something like this. And when you merge, so you can get something like this, right? So
Yes, sir.
where we get there are several platforms where we get images. Yeah, if you want to use probably image, yeah. So the first platform is your Google. Just go to Google, type whatever image you want to use. It will bring everything out. So from there you can download and remove background. Also we have what we have free pick. I want you to write all these things down. We have free pick. Free pick is also a good platform where you can get clean PNG images, right? Or JPEG. So also we have Pinterest, right? But I always recommend free pick because the images are always very, very clear and neat, right? And also Google compared to Pinterest that might have reduced the quality of your image. Then we also have, okay, I want to show us something. I want us to download a particular uh, image. Let me say ball. So from here you can watch, you can download So when you click on download, it will download your image for you. So at this point, if you have any question regarding what we learned today, I want you to ask at this point. Do you have any question? If some things are not really clear. Hello?
Hi, sir.
All
Hi.
right. Um, all right, I'm with you.
Okay, sir. My question is good evening, sir. Well done, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
My question is how do we kind of send the documents from the app, like send the flyer or any graphics that we design from the app to maybe our WhatsApp in a document format? How can we do that, sir?
In document format, okay, you can
Yes, in
send,
document format and not an image format.
okay, I'm not sure, there's no way you can send your work from Pixel Lab as documents. You can only save as image. Then if you now want to send to clients, you can now select document from under WhatsApp. Then you select the image and you send what? You send as document.
Okay, sir.
You get that?
Thank you, sir.
So do you have any other question? I want you to, I was thinking we have a lot of questions after Miss Victoria, Mr. Dedamola, then I have Miss Motun. Okay, Miss Motun has been responding. Then Mr. Ifeoluwa. No questions, right? Hello. If you are shy to talk, you can just leave a message. Don't type no question. Um, yes. Okay. All right. So tomorrow we design our first flyer. So we have our first design tomorrow, and all these features that I've shown you today, we'll be making use of everything tomorrow. So and by the time we'll be doing that tomorrow, I wouldn't want to hear a question like, "How did you get this? How did you get this?" After we talked about it today, right? So it should not really be nice to take us back tomorrow. So I want you all to go to your Pixel Lab and at least get some shape, work on your shape. Regular shapes. Then try and do that. Like I said, when you practice, you tend to get.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the class, Mr.
Thank you,
Olason.
sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.